Hey YouTube, in this video I want to talk about some Skillz. Now Skillz stock has been absolutely crashing, but ARK Invest has taken advantage of this sell-off and they bought a ton of shares. So in this video I want to go in a little bit about what they do, how much ARK bought, and then I want to get into their chart and see what could be coming next. And then after that I'm going to get into some of your questions. Now, if you're new to my channel, I've been trading and investing for over 20 years, and in every video, I'll show you some of the potential trades and investments that I see setting up. So if that's something that interests you, please consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss any future trading or investing ideas. And I also have a Patreon group, so if you would like to be a part of our community and see what we are buying and selling in real time, that link is in the description. If you've never heard of Skillz before, Skillz is the leading mobile games platform that connects players in fair, fun, and meaningful competition. The Skillz platform helps developers build multi-million-dollar franchises by enabling social competition in their games. Leveraging its patented technology, Skillz hosts billions of casual esports tournaments for millions of mobile players worldwide and distributes millions in prizes each month. The company is headquartered in San Francisco and backed by leading venture capitalists, media companies, and professional sports leagues and franchises. Skillz has earned recognition as one of Fast Company's most innovative companies, CNBC's Disruptor 50, Forbes' Next Billion-Dollar Startups, and the #1 fastest-growing company in America on the Inc. 5000. And Skillz has all kinds of games, including Blackout Bingo, Pool Payday, Domino's Gold, 2-Minute Football, and more. Now here's a quick video that shows a little bit more of what they're all about.
What do you imagine when you think of sports? Players and heated competition, stadiums full of cheering fans, cameras and reporters on the sidelines to broadcast for the people at home, right? I bet you didn't imagine anything involving video games. Did you know that esports are a multi-billion-dollar industry that's surpassing the popularity of traditional sports like basketball, football, and baseball? But just like in traditional sports, only the top 1% of gamers are good enough to compete professionally and get recognized for their talent. What about the 99% who play games every single day but will never get to earn the prizes and fame of the pros? The 99% who are desperate for more exciting gaming content to watch and follow. That's where Skillz comes in. Operation Esports for everyone. By bringing multiplayer competitions with prizes to mobile, Skillz lets anyone become a pro esports athlete. How does it work? It's simple, really. Any developer can download our free SDK and set up their tournaments on the Skillz Tournament Management System to transform their mobile game into a competitive esport, so that anyone with a phone can compete for prizes and recognition in head-to-head matches, bracketed tournaments, or 50,000 player live events. Plus, any streamer can broadcast live prize-skilled tournaments with our dynamic tournament overlay to engage a massive audience of fans who can watch and join in on the competition. Over 8,000 studios have partnered with Skillz to build and manage their mobile esports, which are enjoyed by 15 million registered Skillz players. Each day, these players compete in 1 million tournaments a day, boosting engagement and revenue for developers. Streamers run Skillz tournaments in their channels and receive payment per engagement, and their viewers stick around nearly twice as long as they did before. All facets of the sports ecosystem, the game, the players, the broadcasters, and the fans are covered by the Skillz mobile esports platform. Skillz is transforming the way the world thinks about sports. With Skillz, the future of sports is electronic. The future of sports is mobile. The future of sports is now. Ready to level up your game?
I love something that takes my mind off of work or home, or I can't just sit and watch a show. I need to sit and watch a show and do something on my phone. The first time I heard about Skillz, I was on Instagram and I saw an ad. I've always loved solitaire. I've always loved card games and Sudokus and anything that kind of involves numbers. More than that, I've always loved competing against others. So I said, okay, well, we'll see what happens. I was actually pretty good. I remember sitting next to my husband. I was playing in a tournament, and I said, you remember that Skillz game I'm playing? He's like, yeah. Well, if my score holds right now, I'm going to win a 55-inch TV. Mike was completely blown away.
Kind of laughed it off. I didn't know it was something that she could be so successful at. They should never have doubted her. She's extremely good at anything she puts her mind to. Every day it's a new victory, it's a new challenge. She uses solitaire as a release.
Well, that was sweet now, wasn't it? No, but seriously, I can see this business definitely taking off because that's what people are doing nowadays. But anyway, let's get into this news article. And this article says that one ARK exchange-traded fund run by the ETF star Cathie Wood bought over 5 million shares of Skillz Incorporated's shares on Wednesday, as the prices of these ETFs traded up around 2% in Wednesday's session. The ARK Innovation ETF ARKK bought over 4 million shares of Skillz, and the ARK Next Generation Internet ETF ARKW bought over 1 million shares as well. At Wednesday's closing price, this would have valued this purchase at roughly $85 million. All right, so let's jump into my TC2000 charting software and get a look at this current chart. Now, I'm not going to go into the fundamentals on this video because I just did one a couple of days ago on it, and I'll link that at the end of this video if you want to know more about their numbers. And of course, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy on the internet. This is just my opinion. Please do all of your own research before buying any stocks you see on my video, yada, yada, yada. You know the drill. All right, let's get into this current price action. And it's actually reversing today. I think some of that is due to profit taking, and some of it is due to the market kind of rolling over. It's actually quite surprising, especially yesterday after that huge up day on massive volume. It's actually reversing on even bigger volume, so I'm kind of shocked to see that. I can't imagine this is Cathie Wood and ARK Invest, getting rid of their shares. Who knows? I know they are active traders, but I can't imagine they would load up with that many shares looking to unload them the very next day. So I think a lot of this is just all the people that have been trapped into the stock. Anybody who's been in the stock in the 30s and 40s, this stock chart is very painful, and it just keeps continuing to drag down. And if you've been in this stock since the 30s or the 40s, you're thinking once it breaks into the 20s, you're like, man, I'm probably just going to get out of this. I can't take this pain anymore. And the thing has drifted into the teens, and that just hurts even more. And you're thinking, you know what, if this thing gets anywhere close to 20 again, I'm probably just going to get out. That's probably what a lot of people are thinking, regardless if they're long-term believers in the company or not. It's just what goes through your head when you're in a losing investment. But the fact that this thing is turning around has kind of got me scratching my head a little bit. I thought for sure after yesterday's price action, it definitely had a date with this 50-period simple moving average coming up. Let me get this thing out of here real quick. But this big turnaround is making me not so sure of that anymore, because after a huge reversal on massive volume, you usually get some follow-through. I mean, so you got like two very conflicting candles right here. You got one where it started at the low, closed all the way at the high on enormous volume, which is usually tells you you're going to get some follow-through, which we did in the very beginning of the day. But now it has turned around, and it's right at the low of the day on even larger volume. But that being said, I do think that Skillz is very close to a bottom if it hasn't bottomed already. In my opinion, I think it already has bottomed. The only thing that could probably keep Skillz from making another low, or that would probably attribute it to making another low, is if we get a huge market sell-off. Obviously, that's going to take down some of these, more speculative names. But if this thing can hold that white line, that 8-period exponential moving average, and start to carve out a bottom, I think this has an excellent chance of going sideways a little bit and then making it all the way up here to this 50-period simple moving average, right around $25 a share, and that's still a substantial move up from these levels. So what I'm going to be doing is looking for this thing to carve out a bottom, prove that it's found a bottom, find some support above this moving average, hopefully, and then if it starts to move higher, I'm going to try to grab some, because I think it has a date with that 50-period simple moving average for sure. But once you get up to that moving average, we do have this big steaming pile of resistance that it made in early March. So you got two big resistance areas. You have this area right here, and then of course you have this 50-period simple moving average, which stocks usually find some support or resistance there more often than not. But let's go to the weekly chart and see how that is looking. We can see just the volume on this week obviously is going to be gigantic because of those two candles. But I think, judging by the weekly chart, has a pretty good chance of getting up to that white line on the weekly chart. But I think it's actually going to make it up to that green box that I talked about if it can carve out a little bit of a bottom and kind of hang around in the upper teens for a few days or so. Because I think this stock definitely looks like it has bottomed. And man, I hope this thing does end up holding these moving averages, because this could be a great swing trade heading north despite this huge sell-off today. I think that's just a lot of people taking profit. I think a lot of them are going to be getting out. Perhaps it's short sellers that have been beating this thing down, and then after this day, you know what, they're just probably going to say, I'm just going to take my profit and move on to the next one. So I do think that this huge selling is probably going to be an anomaly. And if it does end up holding these moving averages, I'm going to look to trade this on a swing headed back up towards that 50-period simple moving average. All right, so right now let me touch base on the QQQ, which of course is the ETF for the NASDAQ. Let me zoom in a little bit here. It's pretty unfortunate what happened today, because it looked like we were definitely going to get some follow-through to the upside, but somebody told me that Biden came on TV and said something that the market did not like. I didn't actually see what he was talking about, but and it doesn't even matter because the market did not like it. We had that massive reversal intraday, which is a shame because I think this sucker was just poised to make a new high on the Qs. Hopefully it can shake this off and turn around and go up tomorrow or next week. But this is not good. Having a huge reversal day after that big green day that we had yesterday is not a good thing. But let's go to the minute chart. Let me back it out, and we can see when the market reacted to what was said, and this sucker just rolled over big time. But when this happens, the reason why I'm bringing this up is when something happens like this, we have a sudden down move in the market. Instead of worrying about your stocks going down, look for one of these MACD positive divergences to occur. We were waiting for it to set up in the NASDAQ, but actually this one did not trigger. And that's one of the things that I want to show you, not just when they trigger, but when they don't trigger. But you get this big fast move, you want a bottom, and then you want the next move to come down and make a lower low. And this is what is called an MACD, positive divergence. You got a lower low on the Qs, and you got a higher low on the MACD indicator. Actually, it was up here because actually the price continued down. But what I am looking for when the Qs are making this pattern right here, you want that lower low, and then you want it to break through. This is step one right here. When this starts to happen, step two is when it gets above those moving averages. Do not take the trade until it confirms and gets above that 8-period exponential moving average, and it proves that it has bottomed out and it's starting to go back up, because if it doesn't, chances are it's going to roll back over, and this is going to be a losing trade. Now, the reason why I love this trade is because it has high reward and very low risk. If you get in this trade and it does happen to get above these moving averages, your stop loss is going to be just underneath this low right here. So you're only risking this little bit right here, and you have the potential of it going all the way up. And many times the stock, or the QQQ, does end up going up quite a ways. But I just wanted to point that out in this video that, man, we were waiting for this to happen, but unfortunately did not trigger. So none of us took that trade, so none of us took a loss. What we want to do in a trade like this is just buy an option that's just a little bit out of the money, and usually end up making 100 or 200% pretty easy, especially if you're towards the end of the week, like Thursday or Friday, because those options can really move for you, and they're usually pretty cheap. But unfortunately, this one did not work out. But just want to show you guys that one. But I did have a question. Let me jump over to that chart. Actually, let me go back to the daily chart. Jason Burke asked about INCT. Okay, so this is a very low price stock. It's trading at 0.001. All right, Jason, with these type of stocks, especially with this pattern right here, chances are it's probably going to go sideways for quite a while. Now, this is like the first step that I like to see in these very low price penny stocks. You usually get a move like this, and then usually a couple of weeks to a couple of months, I like to see it go sideways, and then once it starts up again, that's when you get ready to buy. I don't like to buy right around here because chances are I don't end up catching this move anyway. Usually when it makes this move right here, it jumps on my radar. But you usually want it to go sideways for, you know, a couple of weeks to a couple of months or several months at least, and then wait for it to do one of these numbers again. And then once it pulls back, usually that second move up can be an enormous move. Let me jump over to Humble. Humble was one that I was following. Of course, it was a TSNP back then. Unfortunately, I couldn't trade this one back in the day. My broker wouldn't let me. But this is what happens. Like, you get that first initial move up, and then it kind of went sideways for a little while, for several weeks to maybe a couple of months. But then once it jumps right back above of those moving averages, that's when you want to jump on board this train, and that's when it has the huge potential of just screaming higher, like Humble Incorporated did. I mean, this thing just went on a massive move. And you usually want to be selling when you start getting these days where the up day is like bigger than any other up day it's had during the run. That's usually when a stock is starting to climax out, at least in the short term. So that's how you would want to trade these ones, Jason, or at least how I would like to trade it. But you just got to realize there's a ton of risk with those stocks that are, you know, trading well under a penny. But let me go back to that one real quick, INCT. If I had to guess, it's probably going to go sideways for at least another couple of weeks, maybe to a couple of months. So if you're already in the stock, I would just sit tight. If you're just thinking about buying it, I would kind of wait for it to, you know, definitely carve out a bottom and then jump back above those moving averages. Because sometimes you get these little fake outs like this. Now, this one didn't go sideways long enough, so I probably wouldn't have been very optimistic about this one taking off. It usually needs to go sideways for at least 2 to 3 months that I've noticed. But if this thing jumps back above those moving averages, I think it has a pretty good chance of going on another one of these huge runs. But that's what I would wait for if you're not in it. And if you already are in it, I would just kind of sit tight and hope that happens. And then if it continues to fade lower for another, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 months, I personally would just get out of it because chances are it might not go on a run ever, or it could take a long time, and you don't want your capital tied up for too long. Hopefully that answered your question, Jason. And if any of you guys ever have any other questions on any other stocks, you know, please don't hesitate to leave them in the comment section for me. All right, guys, well, that's all I have for this video, so I'm going to end it right there. But if you have any questions about any of these stocks, or if you have any other stocks you want me to take a look at, please leave them down there in the comment section. I will get to them as soon as I can. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching my video all the way to the end, guys, and until next time, take care.